Yes, boys, today I want to talk about how we have a lack of fathers in the black community and how that really impacts our long-term life results. Something amazing about growing older is you now have the gift of time, and things that I thought that weren't bonuses or privileges or merits to my life have now become so obvious to me in ways I never could have predicted 20 years ago. I am privileged in a way that I could never have known when I was younger. I come from a two-parent black home. And growing up, that was just normal to me because you don't think about it. That's privilege. You don't know that you have it. I had a mum, I had a dad, I had balanced sides of the feminine and the masculine. And that was that. That was normal for me. But it was only until maybe like 5 years ago did I realize, oh shoot, every single black kid in my class when I was in primary school did not have a father. None of them. Something I'm now starting to ask myself is, am I where I am today because of my own actions? And that just came purely from me? Or were my actions taken because I had two parents in the house when I was growing up? Is my success down to me? Or was I just handed this kind of upper hand because I had two parents in the household? And as we'll see by the end of this video, we'll quickly realize that two parents in the household is more important than any amount of money you can receive. It might even be more important than which country you're born into. When you have two parents into the household, two great parents as well, anything is possible. But no matter how rich you are, if you have a lacking parent in your life or no parent there at all, you're going to have some emotional trauma, okay? And you won't learn all of the skills which will make you become successful really easily. So I had those two sides. Like my mum, she's the one, let's go on holiday, let's go this, fun, adventure, no rules, like go to bed, like bedtime's 9 o'clock, but we can kind of like, change that depending on how I feel. Like that's mums for you, Whereas dad is like, no holidays, work, study. Let's learn stuff, learn. And what was really cool about my dad was that we would not only learn in simple like knowledge and stuff like that, like mathematics. He taught me how to read, taught me how to do mathematics. So we would do drills together, which I absolutely hated. I absolutely hated that. We had a whiteboard, we're learning maths, how to do times tables, algebra, all of that. And I hated it back then. But stupid me. What I was getting was absolute privilege. I was having a first-class education that none of my friends had, you know what I'm saying? But not only in terms of just pure, just academic knowledge, but he taught us status as well, okay? So we would be going places like the Rulebrook Hall for the proms, okay? If you don't know what that is, the Rulebrook Hall is like classical kind of like hall, like proper like hall for like orchestras and stuff like that. And the proms is something they hold every year in the Rulebrook Hall. And you have like 30 days non-stop of like great music, like orchestral, classical music. So we would go to the proms pretty much every single year. We would go there maybe 2 or 3 times. Yeah, we're not getting the stalls, that stalls cost too much money. They're like £100 a ticket each. But we got the cheapest tickets. But the point is, we were going to the proms, okay? Now, what other black kids were going to the proms, okay? None, okay? When I went to the proms, we were the only ones. We were the only black ones in there, okay? It was 99% white, okay? And what's funny now is so many times people ask me, how do you get all these clients from like Russians? We have Jewish clients. We have Punjabi clients. We have lots of clients from high class neighborhoods. I mean, we've done stuff in Harrow School for Boys. And we just did a job for a pair of twins who one of them go to Merchant Taylor School. Back when I was a piano teacher, I had students that go to London Oratory. I am around the upper class and the higher class all the time, and I fit in like this, okay? And something that people always ask me is, how do I get those kind of clients, okay? How do you get your CBREs? How do you get your high class FTSE 550 clients? And looking back at it now, is the reason I know how to integrate with those types of people is that I've always been doing it since childhood anyway, thanks to my father. My father is the one who purposely integrated me into those places, and I had no clue what he was doing. He was doing a master plan for me and my siblings to get ahead, and back then I couldn't understand why. In fact, back then I used to hate it. Going to the proms, that's not my type of music. I don't want to go there. Taking us to the Science Museum, to the National, I think it's called the Tate Museum, all those places. He was integrating me in to the upper class from get-go. We would go to like lectures, science lectures, where they would learn and see from professors news findings and new inventions. And these are the places that he would go to. That was my summer holidays, okay? Yes, did I still go outside and play with the boys and go cycling and doing random stuff as a kid, rah-rah, in the neighborhood? Yes. But also, I was going to national theaters, I was going to the Robert Hall, I was going to jazz places, museums. That is where my father was dropping me into, and I could not see his master plan so early. I couldn't see it. I could not see it. But he was integrating me into those types of environments before I even knew about those types of environments and how much it would mean to me now. Because I fit in with those guys. Unfortunately, I fit in. Now, you know what? I take that back. The word isn't unfortunately. I fit in with the upper class more than I do with my own bros from the hood. I don't fit in there. And looking back at it is because I had a strong father who taught me these things, okay? I'm not ratchet. I don't do ratchet. I don't buy Nikes. That's not me. I like the more upper class kind of lifestyle. I ain't got the money for it, but that's where I fit in. And on the other side of things, we have my mum, who was the kind of like typical mum, but we did mum with class, you know what I'm saying to you? So our holidays would be like going to France. Our holidays would be going to Barbados. Our holidays would be going to Disney World, Florida. No. Not Paris, Disney World, Florida. So she gave us the other side, that kind of like more loving side of going out, enjoyment. My mum was all about enjoyment. My dad was all about let's get to work. And I really think you need those two balances in your life for you to be a well-rounded person in later life. If you only have one of them, which is more likely to be your feminine mother side of things, you're going to be unbalanced. I was watching this video from this Chinese guy the other day, and he was talking about what it's like to be raised in a single parent family. So he said, stand up, okay? How long can you stand up when you have 2 feet planted on the ground? Hours. You could probably do that for like 24 hours, right? Standing still with 2 feet on the ground, okay? Now, how long could you stand up when you have only 1 foot planted on the ground? So you're kind of like balancing on 1 foot, okay? So 1 foot up, 1 foot down, okay? Most people can't do it for more than 15 minutes. It's really, really difficult. And that symbolizes what it's like being raised in a single parent household. Totally unbalanced, always trying to find the balance, but really and truly it's impossible. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. You don't get to choose which family you're born into. It's luck. If you're born into a rich family, that wasn't your fault. If you're born into a poor family, that wasn't your fault. If you're born into a family full of alcoholics who are emotionally abusive, who are never there for you, that is also not your fault. In fact, the majority, really, of black families, black kids in the West have no father in their life. And this is the reason for so much of the failures that we have in the black community. Okay? In another video, we'll talk about why black fathers are deciding to not be there for their children. That's a whole different video. But right now, I just want to come out here and humble it and say that I am as successful as I am today because I had two parents. That was my privilege. Okay? We weren't rich, but I was rich in a way that I just didn't see when I was that age. But my parents, my father specifically, really, he laid the groundwork for me and made it so easy for me to win because he did all of that planning beforehand. And now looking back at it, it's like, I'm going to the proms. How do you act in the proms? How do you act around rich white people? How do you act around the upper class people? I already knew how to do it because my dad already put me there. Okay? My ex-black friends hated the kind of music that I listened to. They'd rather listen to rap, hip-hop, rah-rah, grime. That's not my kind of music. I used to be a musician. I used to play in the jazz clubs. But my father taught me everything other than that ratchet way of life. I have no interest in it. I don't read tracksuit bottoms and Huaraches and Air Force Ones. My father was the one where I told him I liked the piano. I saw the piano in church. I liked the look of it. I liked the sound of it. He bought me a keyboard and he taught me the alphabet of the piano, of music. And I was off. He laid it for me. You know, my dad has never bought me a console. He's never bought me any nice pair of shoes. He's never taken me to Thorpe Park. But he bought me books. He bought me pianos. He showed me the world in a way that most black kids will never had. He put me in the prime position to win. And now I look back at it, my winning has almost nothing to do with me. Yes, I executed the plan, but there never would have been a plan if it wasn't for both of my parents. I realized something with my friends, my male friends that didn't have fathers in their life. I would get onto them about things they were doing wrong in their life, like the way they acted, the way they behaved in public, the way they acted at their workplace once they told me stories about how their manager got onto them. And they would say to me, Hedron, why are you getting onto me for? Why are you being so harsh? And it always used to make me feel like, what's harsh about what I'm saying? This is just like basics. But then one day it hit me. The reason why they find it harsh is because they never had a father doing it for them when they were young. My father was harsh in that way to me. What are you doing in your life? Where are you going? You're being lazy. Work harder. Become stronger. Rah, rah. He would get on to people about personal traits, and kind of psychologically try to improve my mindset. Okay? But when I tried to do the same thing for my friends, which I thought was just normal, they took it as an attack. And then it hit me the reason why I think it's an attack is because they never had that kind of treatment when they were young from a real strong father that wanted them to become better and stronger. All they had was a mum at home, let them bend the rules, do what they wanted to do, go where they wanted to go, have fun where they wanted to go, buy whatever they said they wanted to buy. Oh, mum, I want a PlayStation, you're going to get a PlayStation. They never had that pushback because usually mums don't really do the pushback. Mums are in their feminine. Mums want to provide everything for their children, right? As they should do. But when you come from a two-parent household, right, you're going to have this kind of friction between both two parents about how their child should be raised. So I would go to my mum, I want a PlayStation, I want an Xbox. My dad'd say, no, you're having that. Go to work, come stronger. If you want something nice, get A stars in your work. You know what I'm saying to you? There's that constant friction between the parents when you have a two-parent household. So you'd run to your mum for safety. Like, if the road is treating you bad, you're getting bullied at school, life is hard. You can go and cry in mum's lap. You go to dad for serious things like, I need a job, I need places to go, I need knowledge, because he ain't giving them that love. Like, because it's that constant friction. And I realized that all kids that didn't have a father at home had no idea what that felt like. They didn't experience that. And because of that, they were constantly unbalanced in their life. And pretty much all of them have failed in life now because of that. Kids that have gone to prison, people that have got kids early and then ruined their lives, have ruined the chance of success, because once you have kids early, then it's really hard to become successful. And it's all down to the fact that they didn't have a father at home. And it's so, so sad. I was lucky to be born with that privilege, I admit it, man. And when I was younger and naive, I put it all down to me. But now when I look back at it, it was nothing to do with me. My success was down to my parents. They laid the groundwork. And I even remember one day I was at church with one of my church uncles and my father. The church uncle said one day he would understand what you're doing for him, how much you're laying the foundation for him. And at that moment in time, I just couldn't understand what the hell they were talking about. But I do now. Having a strong father in your life is a game changer for both sexes, but in different ways. For men, it's a game changer in the fact that you have someone to build you into becoming a real man and becoming into a man that women will admire and want to create a life with. And for women, having a strong father in your life gives you an example of the type of man you should marry. What I found out was all the women that didn't have a father in their life had a tendency to choose rubbish, crap, poor quality men because they had no example of what a real man was. So in effect, they were just lost, picking any man. They were just, playing darts and just throwing them randomly and just seeing what stuck. When you don't have an example of a real man, of a father's real love in your life, you just don't know what to choose, and you just end up going for the men that give you everything in the short term but nothing in the long term, okay? Because a real father will make you wait for things, okay? But a dirty man will just lay, oh, here's a bit of alcohol, here's a nice little present, and then the foolish women will fall for that. So I haven't got a license for a car. I never bought a car in my life. I don't even know how to drive. But what I found was, it was all of the women in the hood that had no fathers who would make stupid rules like, hey, I would never date you unless you had a car. I ain't dating you. You ain't got a car, you ain't whipping, you ain't driving, I ain't never dating you. And it just goes to show how naive and foolish these girls are, because they think driving a car is what's good and great about a man, okay? Instead of looking at a man's real inners, okay? Because when I go to high class society, they don't give a damn that I don't drive or have a car. What they're looking at is the real traits. And the real traits is tick, 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 tick. That's why when I go to the hood parties, the girls aren't really interested in me. But when I go to upper class societies, I have all the girls chasing me. When I go to the Punjabi parties, who usually have a lot of money, okay, all their aunties are saying, would you want to marry a Punjabi girl? Marry my daughter, marry my niece, da-da-da-da. They're throwing at me. They don't give a damn that I'm driving a skateboard in there. They see a real man because they see all the traits. But in the hood, all they see is, are you whipping though? Are you wearing designers? Are you wearing Air Force Ones? Is your haircut fresh though? Is it sharp? They're looking at all the things that don't make a man. And it's not their fault. The reason they're looking at all those things is because they don't know what a real man is. Because when you go into rich society, having a car is like the most basic thing on the planet. Okay, having designers, they don't care about that. Okay, having Nikes, they don't care about that. I ain't spending £120 on Air Force Ones. They don't care about those things. They're looking at other traits which will actually generate a great family. But for the girls that didn't have a father growing up, they don't know what to look for in a man. So hence why when they see me, I puzzle them. They're like, what? What's this? You look black. Okay, you're black. Yeah. But you don't act black. So both sexes get effed up in two different ways, but in the end it ends up resulting in a life which is less than satisfactory, okay? Okay, I was raised in an environment where on a Sunday morning, my parents would wake up together and they would just talk about life together before actually getting out of bed. And they would talk about their next moves, how they would plan together. That's how I saw my father. I like to wear like nicer clothes, if you know what I'm saying to you. Nice pair of trousers, nice shirt. If you try to stand out and wear the clothes where you'd be accepted into the upper class society, what's going to happen is all the kids without fathers are going to try and bully you. Ew, what's that? Why are you wearing those clothes? But I was able to shake that off because I had 2 parents at home. I didn't fall for the trap, okay? If I was how I am right now, wearing tracksuit bottoms, Air Force One, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be allowed into upper class society. They wouldn't allow me in. I wouldn't be able to get the kind of clients that I have. What is exalted in the poor community is villainized in the rich community. But what's villainized in the poor community is what they will love you for in the rich community. I mean, the other day I came up from cycling and I wear like kind of like spandex kind of thing, like those tight clothing, shorts, you know, like a jersey, cycling jersey. And something I don't usually do is go to the shops in my local area after I go cycling in the spandex because I know what's going to happen. They'll start laughing at me because, why are you wearing such tight clothes for? You're gay, bro. You're wearing tight clothes. But this is cycling clothes. This is what you wear to become the fastest cycler. This is like last week. I went there. It was so hot. I just needed like a little drink after the cycle. So I went there while still in my spandex with my bicycle. And there was a girl there that I hadn't seen for like, I don't know, 7 years. And she's like, you look really good and stuff, but why are you wearing that for? Like, that's just tight clothing. Why are you wearing that? I was like, listen, I don't wear this on a daily basis. This isn't my normal wear to wear outside. But this is what I wear when I cycle. Okay? Because this is what makes me go fast and what's comfortable while cycling. Hey, I don't like that. And she just couldn't get it. She said, I couldn't go out with someone like you then. I'm like, bye-bye. But when I wear the same clothing and have my nice road bike in the rich communities, they love me for it. So if I didn't have a father at home, maybe I would fall for their trap and say, you know what, I'm not going to wear these kind of clothes. I'm not going to cycle because I might feel embarrassed in my community. But I don't give a damn because I had 2 parents at home. Why are you wearing a suit for, bro? Ugh, a suit. Ew, disgusting. Like, why are you wearing a suit? You're trying to be like a rich brother. But when you wear a suit in the right communities, they love you for it. Oh yeah, come here. We love you. Come to our party. But in the poorer communities where it's stigmatized, where it's normal for having only a mum at home, they will absolutely bully you for those kind of things. I know a lot of upper class families and I wouldn't trade my life for theirs. Never. I wouldn't trade my childhood for theirs. I am not interested because I am privileged in a way where money simply cannot buy. I'm privileged in a way where you cannot buy it. Yes, the rich kids, they can buy their holidays, buy their nice clothes, buy a nice car, but that's nothing. That's all material. But the real love of life, the real meaning of life, the real substance of life, I've already got it. And money just can't buy it. Something to ponder on, Perdos. Something to think about, everybody. This is the Hezron Springer Show.